All right, day 9 complete. A really, really interesting day of practice in many ways. Before, during, and after. It is SNL. Landry Locker, Cody Stutes with you. We're about 12 hours away, 12 plus hours away from hopping on a jet plane and going to West Virginia, which is where the Texans will be. We'll talk about what to expect there a little later on. But first, let's go hear from D'Amico Ryans. Normally we play the clips after. I think this is important because this is something that we've observed the last, I would say, 4-ish days, that the offensive line, just from our eyes, is kind of shaping up. And D'Amico Ryans, after practice, he confirmed as much.
For our offensive line, we're getting settled into, first group, second group, getting settled in. And we have to find out throughout this camp who our top 9 guys will be. And so we'll continue to go through that process, but you start to see it get solidified. Guys start to separate themselves, especially once we put the pads on. You can see guys start to move ahead of other guys a little bit. So we'll still evaluate those guys and see how the games go, but I'm pleased with where we are now, and there's still room for improvement. But I think it helps when you have continuity. You're working besides the same guy for however many reps you're going through practice. It helps with communication, helps speeds up things, right? And so I think the guys done a great job of settling in, and we'll see how that continues to move forward.
Your offensive line, if they played a game tomorrow, would be Cam Robinson at left tackle, Laken Tomlinson at left guard, Jake Andrews at center, Titus Howard at right guard, and Ariante Ursery, the rookie, at right tackle. I mean, that's the line they've put on the field with the first team the most. That's the team that goes out there the first. And as D'Amico Ryans said, they're kind of settling in and figuring out who's the first team, who's the second team. And they've started to sort of solidify that. And that seems like the crew they're going to roll with. And boy, they sure got to that pretty quick here. And I feel like they got to it probably based on the performance of everybody as well. They separated pretty quickly in some of these spots.
I think they kind of got there. Like, I don't disagree with you. I think the bottom line is performance. I'm not trying to be too well actually guy, but I do think they also got there with, if you follow the money and you follow the investment. Like, they didn't pay Robinson what they paid him to not be the left tackle for at least 1 year. They didn't bring in a guy who started every game since 2018, Laken Tomlinson. They didn't bring him in to be a backup to the guys that they have as the other options as left guards. The center, Andrews, the familiarity, they brought him in obviously for a reason because of his background. I think the one guy who, I don't know if it's a surprise, but Titus Howard just being the unquestioned right guard was there. And then obviously the Ursery thing. I think Ursery's one and done on this O-line. I think he's one and done. I think he's on the right side for 1 year, and then he's your left tackle of the future. So I think that's kind of where they're at with Ursery. And quite frankly, I think that if they'd never signed Cam Robinson, I think Ariante Ursery would be your starting left tackle, and you would just have to go through the natural growing pains of that. I think that's eventually where he ends up, and he's still open. I asked him at first, like, how you're feeling and how you're feeling on the right side. He didn't answer the right side question, so I went back to it, and he was open. I'm more of a natural left tackle, but I'm getting used to the right side, and it's all good. So I think he's a one and done. I think he's going to start at right tackle, and then I think next year he, in a perfect world, is going to be your left tackle, and he's going to be your left tackle for a long time.
I would also say, like, a lot of these guys started the competition with a pretty good lead. Cam Robinson because of the money, Laken Tomlinson because of the experience. What else are you going to do with Titus Howard? But they did do a good job of sort of finishing the race to be the starter. Like, Cam Robinson's clearly been a better left tackle than almost any option. Ursery's had some nice moments at left tackle, but he's not really been up there at left tackle against the Andersons and the Hunters and even the Taylors. And you need him at right tackle. Laken Tomlinson had a lead. He's by far the best left guard option they have. I would say the same with Titus Howard. And then there was it's pretty tough competition there at center. I would say, again, it's close to being decided. Patterson's closer than anybody else is to any of those other offensive linemen. Patterson close to Andrews. And then Blake Fisher's been so damn bad that Ursery's, even had some growing
Yeah.
pains. And he's clearly the best right tackle.
I don't think that Ursary started out with a lead in that one. I think they actually started him out behind Blake Fisher, and they gave Blake Fisher an opportunity, and he failed. And they didn't waste any time, and they moved Ursary up there. I think if Blake Fisher had performed at a high level at right tackle, I think Ursary's probably your swing guy. And we're seeing him as the second team left tackle, and then like the third team right tackle instead of the first team right tackle and the third team left tackle. But I think Ursary's the one guy who started out behind and then came up and took the job, or maybe the guy ahead of him kind of backed up towards him. I think it's a combination of both of those things. So I think the Ursary thing will be interesting to see just kind of how that whole thing looks. Like I'm not sitting here saying I'm overly confident about the offensive line, but the offensive line is intriguing, I guess.
I would say today was, to me, their best day overall that they had out there. From a run blocking standpoint, from a pass blocking standpoint, like combining those two, I thought today was their best day that they had as an offensive line.
Yep. No doubt. On the soup, HD AV Traveler, 2-piece combo.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
We go breast and leg on the 2-piece.
I mean, if they'll give me 2 breasts, I'll take that.
Yeah, 2 breasts, always a good thing. HD AV Traveler says, afternoon, Landry, Cody, and friends. Afternoon to you.
Thank you.
He also says, have fun tomorrow morning with those early. Those are so much fun. Believe me, I know. He's talking about the flights. Yeah, I like it. 5 a.m.
Everybody rolling around the airport like a zombie.
ST asks, is Landry going to chug a bottle of ACV? Now I'm going to chug 8 ounces. And it might.
Good question, Steve Areno. Good question.
If Christian Harris does not practice on Monday, then yes, I will be chugging at 4:00 right here 8 ounces of apple cider vinegar for the people. Now, I will say this. Kind of liked what I saw today when it comes to Christian Harris being on that field Monday. Kind of liked what I saw today when it comes to that, my friend.
Yeah, Harris was on the side field with most of the pup guys as they were all working
out. What was he doing, though?
He was working out.
Okay, but what kind of workout? What kind of workout was that? You know side field workouts. What kind of workout was that?
Everybody was doing a different workout.
Yeah, who was doing the one that looks like they're very, very close to practicing, perhaps 2 days away?
Well, I thought Damian Pierce was doing a really Damian Pierce-centric workout. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Asshole.
They got apple cider vinegar in West Virginia?
For sure. They got a Walmart and they got a Kroger. I've already looked this up.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
Kingdom Bear says saludos. Saludos to you. Me and Miko. Much appreciation, my friend. Someone says a leg and a thigh on the 2-piece combo. Geo.
I'm trying to maximize the amount of chicken I get. I mean, 2 thighs will work.
Yeah, 2 thighs will work. It could be a lot.
While we are there on the pup players, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way real quick. Christian Harris, I mean, helmet on. He was working out before the pup guys got out there, worked out while they were working out. So he's on that far side field. Damian Pierce was working out on the side field. Foley Fatakasi, and he looks like he's dropped a few LBs too, by the way. I wonder if that's sort of a recomposition to maybe help his durability. Derek Barnett on the side field. Danico Autry on the side field.
Derek Barnett's that doesn't look like he's like. I don't know though. I can't judge Derek Barnett. I can't judge Derek Barnett. He's always kind of moving like a hardo.
I thought he was moving pretty good in some of the agility stuff, but it felt to me like if I was trying to like put them into groups, I would say Harris is the closest in his group all by himself. Then I'd put probably Fatakasi and Pierce in a group. Then I'd put
Trent Brown is not playing football.
Then I'd put Barnett and Autry in a group. And then I would put Trent Brown way below them in his own group. Like he wasn't doing agility stuff. Like he was doing like
he's not
small pass sets Like he
He's
was
not
not
playing
moving well.
football. He's not playing football before the season. Like it's going to be if Trent Brown plays football this year, there's going to be a 6 in front of the temperature, not a 9 and not an 8.
I did not spot Kurt Heinisch at all. I did not see Jimmy Ward at all. And then we didn't see Jaden Reed after he left yesterday and kind of helped off with Jalen Reed. Excuse me, Jalen Reed yesterday. He walked off the field with trainers, and what's the guy? Jared Wayne. He was working out on the side field too.
Yeah, well,
some people would want him to not come back. I understand.
Yeah, you are haters. You are haters. So we'll get into the in-depth stuff. I think the overall theme, the offense had a solid day. They weren't bad. They had a solid day.
Yeah, I thought so. There's definitely some moments where the defense looked good, and there were some standout defensive moments, but running the ball well, a couple of really nice moments from C.J. Stroud. Pretty solid day from that offense overall.
By the way, props to C.J. Stroud after practice. He admitted his body language is not good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This was a win for the Body Please 5-0. The Body Language 5-0 won today.
Yeah, when you throw your helmet after you don't complete a pass, that's bad body language.
All right, so we get to practice. We already went through what was happening on the side fields. By the way, Irv Smith out today as well. He was not involved in practice. I will say this. This was kind of a Jakob Johnson day. He had at least over a handful of catches today. And I'm not sitting here saying that he had a lot of yards, but they were definitely seeing if this guy could look like a serviceable offensive player. And some might say, well, why would you do that? It's a whole roster spot. It's it's a whole different formation with Jakob Johnson. And then you have him at tight end and all that. The way that Kaylee spoke of him and the way that they used him today in practice, like they're giving a very strong look as to whether or not they want to carry a fullback. And I would say he passed the test. Like he didn't drop any passes. I would say that Jakob Johnson passed the test today.
I saw some really nice stuff from Jakob Johnson today, and I do very much feel like they're going to not only keep the fullback, but they're going to have some use for him. And he's not just going to be sort of it's not going to be a science experiment. They're going to have a very clear use for him. You're going to be able to put him on the field in a couple of different ways. And he caught the ball really well today. Really well today.
All right, so special teams observation in the first special teams period, they had like an open field kind of one-on-one thing where, I mean, any offensive player worth his salt should be able to look good. I wrote that J.J. Taylor, no one can stop him in the open field. He's a very, very good player in the open field, which again, you should probably expect, but he had a pretty good little period there.
Yeah. I thought Chubb looked slow in his rep in that.
But he didn't look slow in offense. I think Nick Chubb might have had his best offensive day today.
I would agree with you. That was the only thing I had from the shorty special teams session. And Frank Ross, he rings every second out of that 2 minutes that they have for special teams. I mean, they got a lot of work in there, 2-3 minutes, whatever it was. I do appreciate his passion for getting the most of those special team sessions.
So then we go to Indy. The observations I had in the Petrie line today was Petrie, Mollett, and Miles Bryant. Mm-hmm. My observation is Damon Arnett is clearly CB6, and there's not even really any competition. Like Ross is a way better corner than him right now. Damon Arnett will be lucky to hang around on the practice squad. But as far as like any hope that this guy's going to be a depth corner, there's guys on the street that they would bring in that would perform better than Damon Arnett. Good for him for trying to make the comeback, but this guy's not going to be it would be shocking if this guy is put on the field in an NFL game. He's the distant sixth of all six corners.
At six might be generous.
How many corners do they have? Oh, you're counting Mollett. Okay. I'm talking about, all right, let me rephrase this.
Outside guys only?
No, he's 8. Then he's distant 8. Okay, that's what I mean. I'm talking about the guys that work out at corner, not the guys who are working at nickel. So I'm not counting Mollett and I'm not counting Miles Bryant. But if we're going to count them, then yeah, distant 8th.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about the guys that are actually working at outside corner.
Stingley's better. Lassiter's better. The Smiths are better. And Ross is better.
And Miles Bryant.
And Miles Bryant, because he can play inside and outside.
Yeah.
And
So
I would say Mollett too.
Yeah, and Mollett, yes. So he's the worst corner on the team. It's not close. Nothing to really take away at ROA/Indy unless you have something.
Nope.
All right, so then we get to one-on-ones. Let's start in the trenches. Lay it out for the people in the trenches. I'm gonna let Cody lay it out. I'll be RB.
The trenches yesterday, I felt like the offensive line had a pretty solid day. It didn't necessarily translate as well over to practice, but I was focused on one-on-one in the trenches as well again. And I did peek over to the running backs and linebackers. Nick Caserio was their standing quarterback. Let me tell you, Jackson Woodard, he absolutely locked up Nick Chubb on a pass rep. That was the only observation I got from Nick because I was focused on the big fellas. So I'll go through it here. And again, I feel like the offense, way more wins, way more success in the trenches than the defense in this one. I had Sheldon Rankins beating Titus Howard early on in the session. Jake Andrews stood up Tommy Togiai. 75. Laken Tomlinson took care of Tim Settle Jr. This was a really good one. Cam Robinson, Will Anderson just flies in on him, and Cam Robinson kind of takes the initial hit and then kind of just tries to lock his arms out. And Robinson was moving back a little bit, but he wasn't moving back like fast. Like it's just like Will was like kind of just driving him like a sled, but he wasn't moving a whole lot of distance. So I gave it to Robinson on that one. Blake Fisher held up really well against Darrell Taylor. It was a pretty speedy rush, and Fisher was ready for it. Then Ed Ingram took care of the new guy that they added to the roster, Marlon Davidson. He didn't even have his name on his jersey yet. Jared Patterson absolutely dominated the international pathway exemption player. I mean, I put a star next to it because it was so much of an ass kicking. And then again, so Scruggs or Howard loses to Rankins. It's all offense. And then Drew Scruggs comes in and Mario Edwards just easy. Light work on him, right past him. Then as Zach Thomas and Dylan Horton had a absolute war. And I put a star next to it. Thomas held up really well, handled the power. Horton couldn't, get rid of him once Thomas locked him up. Had a win for Solomon Byrd off the edge against Deculus. Junior Tafuna beat up Jalen Thomas pretty bad. Had another Patterson win. Didn't see who he got it against, but had a Patterson win. Davidson went in there and got Darius Henderson. Then we had Blake Fisher against Casey Toohill, and he held up really nicely against Toohill. Toohill tried to go power, and it just didn't work out for him. And then coming off the edge, Darrell Taylor blows past Ariante Ursery. I don't know, Ursery even got a finger on him. Just pure speed, right past him. I put a star next to it as one of the standout reps. Titus Howard takes care of Togiai. Jake Andrews takes care of Tim Settle. He got a star for that one. Andrews was a wall at center in this drill, and he had some good stuff when they got to teams. Mario Edwards got Laken Tomlinson. He got a star for that one. Dylan Horton got Deculus. I saw a Cam Robinson loss, but I don't know who beat him. I couldn't really tell from the way that they were standing. Juice Scruggs beat up on Tafuna pretty good. And then I finished with a Toohill victory over Zach Thomas. So mostly offensive linemen getting the wins there. And that drill's not set up for them to get the wins.
All right, let's go to the receivers and the DBs here on SNL. Captain Kirk, my goodness, absolute dominance.
Captain Kirk, can you save me?
Kirk, I wanna have your baby.
Of Jalen Petrie. And those two are kind of matched up. That's kind of the kind of guy that Jalen Petrie might have to guard. Doesn't look awesome, but a flag route, just complete, just annihilation. Then you had an interception by Smith, by Jalen Smith against Higgins. And this was a good rep by Smith. Looked really good. And he actually got, as we go on in team, he actually gave Stingley a breather in team. So I think it's kind of deja vu a little bit, where there's people thinking that Jalen Smith is a nickel, much like they thought Kalen Bullock was a nickel last year. And last year, the Texans kind of judged right, where Kalen Bullock's good on the outside. It almost feels like deja vu-ish, where
You mean Kamari Lassiter?
Yeah, Lassiter. What did I say? I said Bullock. Damn it.
Yeah.
They're always together. But yeah, it feels like it's kind of deja vu with Kamari Lassiter last year and Jalen Smith, where people thought they were inside guys. The Texans, whoever the fuck is evaluating the corners and the DBs, can you help with the offensive line, or can you find like the equivalent of that? Because it would be really nice. Because if you could get that, you might be talking about a Super Bowl contending team. But Jalen Smith looks like a very good outside corner, and he looks like, just like Kamari Lassiter, he's not touching the inside, at least not by any, like not anywhere close to the inside. And he looked good. He had the interception on Higgins, kind of batted up a little bit. Physical at the line of scrimmage. Then Nico Collins, he ran a hitch on Tremont Smith. He caught it, but it was good coverage by Tremont Smith. The Smiths continue to look good. Then Jalen Knoll against Miles Bryant. Bad throw. Just kind of a duck where he never really had a chance to catch it. Then CJ on a misconnect with Higgins out of bounds. Mills hits 89 on a slant, who is Xavier Johnson out of Ohio State on Arnett. Arnett just kind of lost out there a little bit. Then Berrios, he drew a pass interference on Arthur Mollett. Arthur Mollett not happy. He comes back. He says, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. He's yelling at the ref. I don't know about that one. Yelling at him, but they did throw the flag. I don't think it was a flag either, but it was a good battle, but they threw it. So would have been about a 25-yard game. Then Damon Arnett versus 85. 85 with the catch. Damon Arnett, though, doing his thing. Then just absolute.
Captain Kirk has arrived. I repeat, Captain Kirk has arrived.
Christian Kirk with just a complete juke and out on Jalen Petrie. Just absolute work. And I'm sitting in the tent, and Sean Pendergast goes, wow, Kirk versus Petrie. This is fun. And I go, for who? And he goes, it's a good battle. Iron sharpening iron. I was like, I guess if you say so. This is not I feel like it's fun for Christian Kirk. Then Nico with the slant on Kamari Lassiter. Pretty good coverage by Lassiter, but just a little slant. Then Miles Bryant. I mean, this was a good route by Knoll. It was a good throw, but Miles Bryant just very, very solid PBU on him. Then Hutchinson, Burns, Damon Arnett for a long one. Then you had Tremont Smith versus Xavier Johnson, long incompletion, good battle there, just not there. And then, my God, you want to talk about like a puppet? You ever seen the NSYNC Bye 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 video? That's basically what Braxton Berrios was doing to Arthur Mollett. Not good one-on-ones from Arthur Mollett, but he was basically just bye, 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 like whoop, whoop, like outside Braxton Berrios. So that's what we got with the one-on-ones with the wide receivers and the DBs.
Berrios has a little bit more juice at wide receiver than I expected him to have.
Yeah, he's a good emergency. Like if you needed to line him up in like an emergency situation, this is not like a high scale, but you feel a lot better about him at wide receiver than you do like Steven Sims last year. And
Yes.
he's trying to be the equivalent of Steven Sims. So like he's a better returner than Steven Sims, and I think he's a better receiver than Steven Sims. It's kind of proportional, like how much better he is at both. But I would say the gap at wide receiver is wider than like the return man. And I think he's a better return man than Steven Sims.
Agreed.
So then we go to special teams. This was my observation on this special teams, and I've kind of had the same observation. A lot of times special teams is kind of like a water break, bathroom break. But this is my observation, and I'm not trying to carry this guy's water. I just think this is how they feel about him, and they kind of showed it last year with the decision they made. They trust British Brooks to play special teams in a game that counts. Like I'm not sitting here saying that it's good enough to where he's going to make the roster. Like he's way on the outside looking in, like way on the outside looking in. But if he's around and they need someone to play special teams, they trust British Brooks enough. And I don't know his like special teams history at North Carolina. Maybe he played a little bit, but they trust British Brooks. And that's why he made the team last year, the original roster. They trust him to play. Like they don't trust Arnett to do that. I think Woody's getting there. I think they probably need to see it in a game. Like when we asked Frank Ross about it, they don't trust Jawar Jordan to do it, and they shouldn't. But like, as far as like, do you trust this guy to go out there in special teams? They trust British Brooks to play special teams.
I do feel like his body type is just suited for some of the things they ask him to do over there on special teams. Plus, he has the experience last year of he was a guy they were putting out there on a pretty consistent basis on special teams, and he got hurt, and that was the last we saw of him. And I don't know if he's going to get an opportunity to come back, and he has. And looks good running the football, and looks good on special teams. And he's got a crack at this 53.
Yeah, he's got a crack. Like I'll put it this way. They're not going to play him at fullback. So he's not going to be a fullback, but like if this were high school football and like everybody that was out there right now was going to be able to play like on Friday night, I think he would have a chance to start on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, like for him, the numbers are a little bit different. So that was just kind of my observation on that. Let's go to team one. Give him his props. Because he had his best day. I'm not sitting here saying he looked like his old self, but give him his props as the face of the hate club. You give him his props. I'm going to let you start off this first play.
So you get the first team offensive line, which at this point, I hope everybody knows it. If not, Robinson, Tomlinson, Andrews, Howard, and Ursery. And I really like this play design. And it was one of those where it has a little window dressing to it. You had Dalton Schultz motion in to the formation. They snapped that thing, and woof, Nick Chubb looked like he shot out of a cannon, got him 6 yards on this one before anybody is touching him. That was the official scoreboard number, was 6 yards. I had it initially written down as 4 yards, but when the scoreboard gave him 6, I was standing next to somebody else like, was that 6? They're like, yeah, it was 6. I was like, all right, that was 6. So yeah, it was good. It's a good, nice little run there from Nick Chubb. Probably the best run of camp for him. And then of course, the extra. He always likes to just try to, shovel some coal into the fire. Let's get the train going here.
Yeah, I was getting in a debate with Adam Wexler about Nick Chubb. That's a little heated, like sports radio argument with him about Chubb before, and then he kind of nudged me on that one and said, "Hey, how about that? How about that?"
Yeah, and then after that play, well, Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter took over. Ursery had no chance against Will Anderson. Robinson got beat too, and that play was dead in the water. Then they threw a screen to Christian Kirk.
Just a little sideways. I call it a Zeke Scott. That's what it was called in high school for me. It was a Zeke Scott, just little behind the line of scrimmage, almost like the slot guy, just kind of goes back 2 yards. You hit him, probably 3-yard gain.
Yeah.
Depending on how he runs.
CJ Gardner-Johnson acted like he made a tackle for a loss. I don't know if that was for real or not, but, who knows? This second team in there, a nice stretch play with Woody.
Yeah, they're running the stretch with Woody. I don't know if that it does. The one thing that I've noticed about Nick Caley early on, there's two things. First of all, I asked him about it yesterday. His practice is like there's multiple layers of observation where plays don't get busted as quickly. And he credited D'Amico with the whistle. But whatever it is, like his practices, like they don't get busted as quickly. But there does also seem to be like multiple run styles where they like to run the stretch, and then they like to run like just complete gap. There's not really as much like
it wouldn't shock me if it wouldn't shock me if some of those guys are just better going one way in like a zone run, and then some of these guys are better in just straight power situations.
yeah.
So that you may see a little bit of everything from them. There's a really good vision from Marks on the play.
Good cut on the stretch.
He cuts it upfield, and real nice play. Mario Edwards had a tackle for a loss on Jawar Jordan. He just flies.
I want to ask you about Mario. So last year he really stuck out. Like it was kind of like, damn, like what's going on? I feel like he's doing really well this year, but it doesn't like look as sheerly dominant as last year. But he might be having as good of a camp. I don't really know how to explain it.
I think he's on a pitch count.
Okay.
So because this and I also think they don't want him in there necessarily on like pure run plays. Feels like they're more comfortable with Rankins and Settle in those pure run plays.
Yeah, because Settle was hurt and Rankins went there last year, so that might be it. But I think in this role he's that makes sense. That makes sense. In this role, he's doing as good as he did last year. It's just last year there was probably a little more reps.
He's good, man. He's
a good player.
He and Rankins are the same age,
and he's a 10+ year vet.
Yeah,
and I remember his dad. His dad was a crazy SOB.
Yeah, so they're both the same age, and I mean, Rankins is in there for rundown stuff, and it looks like Edwards, they run him in there for pass down stuff. So, but yeah, he fired through that thing and got Jawar Jordan. And then I had Woody Marks for another 5 yards on a carry. And then the first team offense was back in there. And then this was one of my favorite plays of the entire practice. They ran a play action play, and they had Dalton Schultz blocking with Cade Stover, and they double teamed the living hell out of Daniil Hunter. And it looked like a bar fight, and they were jumping him. And CJ ran that play action, scanning around, and Nico Collins is like looking around like, why is nobody covering me? He just sat down in the middle. CJ found him. Nice little play. And then on the next play, Jakob Johnson, man, he fired through that thing. They had him in that traditional fullback spot, little offset eye. He flies through the right side. It's like a train coming through there, opening up a big hole. They get a nice run out of that. I actually wrote down that I felt like in a full contact situation, that would have been a really big gain. I know they blew it dead pretty quick, but I thought in full contact, that'd have been a really big one. Other second teams in, tackle for a loss from Togi on Jawar Jordan. They weren't giving Jawar Jordan any help up there. And then I had Darrell Taylor flying past Blake Fisher for a sack, and Fisher just didn't have a shot at him. Had a tackle for a loss on J.J. Taylor, and then one of the better runs of the day, British Brooks, just holes right there on the middle, hits it, big gain. I'm sure the linebackers would scream at me if they heard this, but I don't think anybody was tackling him in that little second level. So felt to me like he's going to get to the third level, and depending on how fast he could get in the open field, maybe a huge one, but really nice run from British Brooks, and that wrapped up the first team period.
Yeah, well, there were a couple of observations like after that first team period. One of them, I'm in witness protection here right now.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I'm trying to be in witness protection.
Get the voice changer out.
I don't want to be a snitch. I'm just going to say this. You ready? I believe that the coaches really don't like that everything is being recorded that they do right now. So I know that practice highlights, a lot of people are enjoying them, but I don't think the coaches enjoy, oh, damn, I'm going to get shot.
Right as you're giving the information.
I was trying to stay in witness protection, and it didn't work. But yeah, they do not like that that their practices are being recorded. And I don't know if this is like a Patriot thing or what, but it is. I have it on pretty good authority based on my observations that they don't like that everything they do is being recorded. I don't think they mind the highlights as much, but yeah, like live streaming or whatever the hell goes on, I don't think they like it that much.
It will be interesting to see how many open practices there are next year versus this year's number.
I think there have been some who have ruined it for all when it comes to like maybe like the all 22 getting out there, the live stream. I don't think the coaching staff likes that too much. And that is on decent authority, although now I am the snitch. So then we go to special teams. Miles Bryant gets some more of those punt return reps.
Mm-hmm.
They want my man to be on the squad. So there is that. By the way, Sim Sam says that the Vikings asked the fans to not post vids from training camp.
Interesting.
That's Brian Flores, Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, I think I like if you're live streaming practice and stuff, like that's not good. But they don't love the highlights getting out. Like media is not allowed to record except like during stuff. So like the all 20, yeah, D'Amico's not a fan.
Yeah, the special teams after 1-on-1 was the last time media was allowed to video.
Yeah, but yeah, they do not like that. As far as like special teams punt, like the usual guys covering punts, nothing really to report. Like Dylan Horton is one of their prime special teams players. Would you agree? Like if I asked you, all right, let me ask you this. I'm gonna have you role play and be Frank Ross.
Okay.
All right. No specialists allowed. Who are your 5 core special teams players?
Tremont Smith.
Okay.
I guess I can't count Barrios. You said no specialist. I mean,
He's gonna make the team.
Kick return or punt return.
No, I'm talking no punters or kickers.
Okay, well then I'd say Barrios.
Okay.
I mean, Horton's got to be in there, right?
I think so. That's right. The only reason I was asking this was so I could hear that name. I think Horton's in it.
EJ Speed would be in there for me. Not that he gets him all the time, but he gets him enough.
Is Hansen?
Hanson's probably in there. Yeah. Dare.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
And until otherwise, I'm going to say he's one of their guys.
All right, so let's go to team 2. Now, team 2 was interesting because we started with the third string quarterback. We started with Keydon Slovis. How about that?
Yeah, that was a strange move. Team 2, by the way, was a 22-minute period.
Yes, it was. And I thought it was going to be the end. It was not.
And they started with the third team, as you mentioned.
All right, so we had an out route to 43. Jakob Johnson Day continues.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a play from Two Hill. Two Hill with a little TFL, little celebration. Will Two Hill stand up? He makes a play. Not going to be able to make this team, but good job putting some good tape out there.
You had Luke Lachey just totally whiffed.
He's
totally
not good.
whiffed.
He's not good, by the way.
Yeah,
he's not good right now.
Yeah, Will Lachey whiffed on the block there. It was not good.
Yeah, he's getting cut. Jakob Johnson again with another. What's so funny? You disagree?
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, he's getting cut.
You're just very
if he hangs around.
You're just very flippant about it. Hey, he's getting cut.
Yeah, I mean, thought he might have something. Nah, he's getting cut. Jakob Johnson again. They get him involved. Then we have a little British Brooks up the middle, not much. Then it was out of bounds. Some would say he caught it, but Watson on the sideline, kind of bobbling it, but it was a good effort. Then Taylor up the middle, and then we had a drop, and then CJ comes out on the field. So this is when the first team comes out after a little bit of Slovis action.
a couple of things there. I thought there was, as I talked about Lachey having a bad one, I thought he had a good block on a British Brooks run at one point. And that Watson out of bounds was really close. Official said out of bounds, but really close. But yeah, as you mentioned, CJ in at that point, and the first thing I noted on that was Jalen Smith in for Derek Stingley. So a little bit lighter day for Derek Stingley.
All right, so then CJ Stroud comes in. Jalen Petrie, hell of a job on the blitz, close to the line of scrimmage. A very Tyrann Mathieu-esque. Or Jalen Petrie against the Lions last year.
I put a star next to this play because I thought this was a play that Petrie made because he knows what the offense was.
Wow, you're calling him a practice hero.
Not because he analyzed what was happening.
Hero. So you're saying that he recognized that the offense was going to do it. So you think this was more of a practice hero play than a recognition?
Potentially.
Okay, that's fair. That could be fair. All right, so then we had Petrie batted up, a throw behind Nico Collins. Tim Settle leads the absolute swarm sack of all swarm sacks of the day. My God.
It was probably they'd have to cut that sack into 4 pieces.
Yeah, like that was, that CJ Stroud I was sitting by Sean Pendergast. I know he's friends with Lisa Ann. CJ might as well have been sitting on a couch like Lisa Ann there with that swarm sack. Then you had the coaches were saying we're going too crazy. Like just basically emphasizing that the defense is dominating this day. That's what that was their emphasis. Then a pass to Watson up the middle. And by the way, we had Jalen Smith with a little bit of CB1 reps for Stingley. We mentioned that earlier. Will Anderson sack.
Well, I got one here for you. On Watson's catch was on Petrie, by the way. Just easy. And on that play, Cam Robinson locked up Will Anderson. You don't see it very often, so I want to note it. And before that, I had a Chubb run for 5 yards. I don't want to cheat the guy. I've been critical. I don't want to cheat the guy.
He had his best day. He had his best day.
Is it okay? Is it a time when we can say that he's having a good camp or not, or having a but or not?
Yeah. Is it too early to say that he had a good day? I thought Chubb had a good day. I don't know if it's too early, and I'm gonna have to ask Vandy.
But yeah, as you mentioned, back to where you are, Will Anderson. Woo.
Then we had an incomplete pass to Higgins with Smith in coverage, and then a Dare up the middle and a Dare out. So we can skip that, and we can get to Davis Mills now.
And get to Mills back on the field, and back-to-back, Woody Marks handed him the rock. A couple of really nice runs there.
Pretty good, man.
By Woody Marks.
Like he can cut. Yeah, he looks like he can cut. Then, by the way, Jalen Thomas in for Scruggs. Scruggs had been getting a lot of the second-team reps. I did like how D'Amico said 9-0 linemen. So we know 9-0 linemen is how many we're keeping. He might have them on like a limit, but 9-0 linemen is what we're keeping, is what D'Amico said. Juice Scruggs kind of fighting for his life as a 9th lineman, but we had Jalen Thomas in for Scruggs. Jawar Jordan with a run to the right. We had a dump off to Mechie, kind of a quiet day for him. Then we had Dalton Schultz with a little bobble, but he caught it out of bounds. Then a little sideline dive by Jawar Jordan. Nice little catch. Then Jakob Johnson, season continues with a nice little dump to him. And then Mertz comes in, little rollout, sliding catch to 85, the kid out of Minnesota. And then, my God, D'Angelo Ross, did you not want to be able to stick your middle finger up to Cody Stooch? You did everything perfect except catch the ball. He would have had a walk-in pick 6. Perfect recognition of Mertz's throw. And I'll be damned, my man drops the damn ball. Would have been an easy pick 6. And then we got to end it like we started it, because today was unofficially Jakob Day. Jakob Johnson with another out. I think his 5th catch of practice. So they obviously want to see what he He can catch. He can catch.
He can absolutely catch. A couple of notes in there. I had a Fisher sack on one of them that I would have credited Darrell Taylor with.
Sack?
A Darrell Taylor sack on Fisher.
Oh, okay.
And then a little bit later on, I wrote good job versus Taylor for Fisher. So a little seesaw there for Fisher in that team period. They also took like a weird break in the middle of that team period and then went back to it.
What was 20 minutes?
I don't know. It's just weird.
It was weird that it was 20 minutes, so they needed a break.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the red zone. You ready? Let's go to red zone.
Yeah, so
I think ESPN bought this period. Damn monopoly. They bought the red zone. They bought the red zone.
Yeah, so the scenario was.
By the way, rank the dad joke. I want the chat to rank the dad joke.
The scenario was.
Man. I'm out. Can I get my dad joke out?
Well, I can tell them what they're dealing with in the red zone while everybody gets the. You have one that you're coming with?
Yeah, that I presented during practice that I felt like got a nice reception.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Okay.
Eddie Murphy.
So after I'm more Richard Pryor, but thank you very much. But after
you're delirious is what you are. Hey-oh, Eddie Murphy.
So after Ross dropped that pick six, and I want y'all to say W or L in the chat. I want y'all to be honest. Rank the dad joke. And this was on the go, so this wasn't after the thought. After Ross dropped that interception, that pick six, someone asked me, because sometimes you have to help people that don't see things. They said, who was that? Who dropped that? I said, Ross dropped it. TJ Maxx would have scored a touchdown. Look at that. Look at that belly laugh.
My favorite part is you told the joke to Big Sarge, and Big Sarge just goes, he just like immediately bought a big smile on his face. It was funny.
He had the Sarge smile. He was cheesing. It was
yeah.
I don't know if it was courtesy cheese or like real quality cheese. Like if it were at a deli, it might have been like anywhere from $4.99 to $12.99. It was there.
Yeah, that was.
But
I enjoyed that.
I feel like it was all right. I don't feel like the chat is
the chat loves it. I think the chat loves it.
Okay.
There's a couple of tomatoes in there, so that's,
Yeah, I get it. I deserve. I mean, you dad joke. If dad jokes are 10 of 10, then they're not dad jokes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to period 3.
All right, so the scenario that they started with was in the red zone. Fourth quarter, down 7, 17 seconds, and they started on the 18-yard line. So that was the scenario that they set it up with. First team's out there, quick pass over the middle. They run up to the line of scrimmage. They go to spike it. Official throws the flag, tells them they had an illegal procedure. They count the spike, but still move them back a little bit. 7 tried to get it to Nico Collins, and Stroud was just too high. Jalen Smith was in coverage, and I was kind of sitting there thinking to myself, if it's Jalen Smith in coverage, give Nico a better route. Like, you may change, maybe we get a little hot route for Nico when it's Jalen Smith in coverage. And then the next play, I had him down as had time, and then Stroud's too high, and as he's walking off, throws his helmet. He was pissed. He was not happy that that's how their start to their red zone period ended.
And CJ also admitted his body language stinks sometimes.
Yeah, he was not a happy camper.
CJ did definitely admitted that.
Yeah, he was not pleased.
Then we got a little Davis Mills to finish, take us home.
And so Davis Mills, they quick out, they spiked the ball. Then he was behind a wide receiver. I didn't see which one. I didn't see who it was. He's behind a wide receiver. He couldn't catch it. And then coverage was good, and Davis had to take off with it, but he did not score. No Lamar Jackson from Davis Mills. And then they finished it up with a tip at the line of scrimmage. I don't know who got their big paw up on that, but it was a tip at the line of scrimmage. And all while Mills is on the field, after CJ had picked his helmet up and was listening to the play calls, he made a beeline for D'Amico Ryans. And he was standing there, and they were going back and forth. And I am wondering if they were planning to just end practice until Stroud asked for one more shot at this thing.
Well, if he asked for one more shot, the way he finished, I thought was a good finish for him. So props
It
to him.
was awesome.
It was smooth. So if that's what he wanted, then props to CJ for that.
Quick right to Christian Kirk. They ran up, spiked it, 9 seconds on the clock. And then he had a touchdown to Dalton Schultz, had Aziz. And,
little back shoulder too, back shoulder action.
Yeah, it was a great throw. Great, found it. Aziz and CJ Gardner-Johnson were the closest defenders. Schultz had that for the touchdown. And so then they set it up 1st and goal from the 2. And I'm looking and I'm like, this is Nico territory or whoever Jalen Smith has on him. Well, sure enough, Jalen Smith's over there on Nico, and it's 1 foot in the ground, sends him outside. Nico cuts inside. Boop, ball's right there, touchdown. So great throw to Kirk, great throw to Schultz, easy throw to Nico Collins. Bam, bam, bam. That was a really nice finish to the day, and I counted it as a win for the offense for the day.
Yeah, I thought they did well. I mean, I don't know if I would call it a win. I would say it was at least it went down to a decision.
Well, yeah, it's a split decision.
I keep using like boxing analogies where they're not getting knocked out. Like even when the defense is beating their ass, they're at least protecting themselves and throwing punches. Now, sometimes they might have black eyes, their nose might be bleeding, but they're at least like throwing punches and protecting themselves. But in this one, it would have at least gone down to a decision.
Yeah, I would say split decision for the offense. I've only counted one knockout day, and that was last Saturday when they just absolutely whipped the offense's ass.
Yeah, which is a little bit expected, but I thought it was a nice job on the super chat. Before we hear from Dalton Schultz,
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
all right. So we have a couple of comments here. Carl, a hater, but a very nice hater. He says, "Keep it up. Keep the jokes on the down low." Fair.
I don't know, man. I thought that was pretty funny.
Fair. DeRhino says, "Thanks to Landry. Anytime I see Christian Kirk or hear him mentioned, I hear the Captain Kirk is in the building in my head." Thanks, Landry.
Captain Kirk has arrived. I repeat, Captain Kirk has arrived.
Captain Kirk, can you save me? Captain Kirk, I wanna have
I'm just
your
trying to keep
baby.
Master P alive, man. Some of these kids don't even know about ghetto dope. When you get in like the digital space, like we've been for like the last few years, like when you go radio, like you got to talk about like there's it's like if you don't say Led Zeppelin, they don't even know who you're talking about. And some of them might be too old for that. But like you get to hear like they don't know about this, so they wonder where that is. They go back and listen to it. Rich Boy asks, "What's my favorite audio drop?" Race card all day. Race card every day.
Race car.
Clutch 421. Cash for your apple cider vinegar. Nah,
Wow. Calling his shot.
I got it, but and I might have to drink 8 ounces of apple cider vinegar. I think he's practicing Monday. And this is just to kind of add to it before we hear from D'Amico. Is there anything else you want to add as far as like on the field, or do we want to kind of transition to off field?
Best day on the ground, running the football. Multiple running backs had really nice runs. Marks Brooks, Nick Chubb as well. And I thought the best overall day from the offensive line so far as well.
I thought this was a day where they actively wanted to see if Jakob Johnson could be a plus member of the offense, and I think he actually passed. So I think that they proactively wanted to see that, and I think he passed the test. So that would be my biggest takeaway from what actually happened on the field. But I agree with most of your assessments there. I think Christian Harris is I think D'Amico is ready for West Virginia for a number of reasons. I think he's tired of I don't think he likes practice being recorded. And I know he doesn't, but I mean it's I think that's kind of something. And I also think that he wants to I think they're really going to let it fly in West Virginia. Like when it comes to evaluation. I mean, when Nick Caserio comes out and says we're going to shape up the starting offensive line in West Virginia. That kind of tells you like how important they're looking at these next 4 practices as. And when I know for a fact that D'Amico and them don't like their practices being recorded past like the allowed media time and live streamed, which is like just crazy, honestly. I think they're looking forward to West Virginia.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I think these practices are going to be big in that manner. And that's why I think Christian Kirk not Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk's already there. Christian Harris will be practicing Monday. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, that 8-ounce apple cider vinegar doesn't sound great. Promise you that, but we'll get it.
Get your medicine.
And if he does practice, you have to drink 8, right?
I'm not doing a damn thing if he practices. I'm more right than you. You're the one that's been selling snake oil for 3 weeks.
But I didn't know how important West Virginia was to them. But just kind of, this ain't no snake oil. He's practicing.
Yeah, whatever you say. Just like crypto's going to go up anytime soon.
That ain't me, man.
Crypto Harris.
That ain't me. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. So let's get into the Dalton Schultz situation. So Dalton Schultz last year, like, make no mistake about it, he wasn't good. And there could be a number of factors. Maybe he was asked to do stuff that perhaps he shouldn't be doing.
Damn it, Bobby.
Maybe he was injured. I think where there were times where he didn't practice and he ended up playing anyways. He played every game. Maybe he's just getting older. But it was clear that he did not play very well. And D'Amico Ryans basically admitted as much when he said, we're starting to see the old Dalton.
Dalton has continued to improve throughout camp, just watching him from day one. Like, he's came out with a phenomenal attitude, urgency to get better in the running game, also in the passing game. And people that have been here, you've seen him make some tremendous catches in the passing game and looking like the old Dalton. And the guy we thought, we would get coming from Dallas, guy who made a ton of plays in the passing game, that's who I'm seeing showing up this camp. So it's good to see him. He's looking fresh, playing fast, making plays, great catch radius, making big plays in the passing game. Expect to see more of that.
Yeah, and I mean, he does look better. Although I don't remember him looking terrible in camp last year. Like, I'm not going to rewrite history. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it looks way better, because I don't think we were anticipating in camp that he was going to look as bad. But
well, the offense, look, we didn't know it was going to be garbage.
Yeah. So we saw that. And then Dalton went up there, and I like Dalton because I think he's a little bit of an a-hole. And I think it's like good a-hole. But I also think like when he wants to turn it up and actually just like talk, I think he's kind of got like scar. I know he's scarred from like the Dallas days, the way the media worked there. But I think he goes up there and he really carries himself very, very well. And I thought today, as a podium critic, hashtag podium critic, I think this was a top 3 performance of camp at the podium. And it might actually be number 1 when it comes to substance and potentially trying to make sense of what we saw from Dalton Schultz last year and what we may see from him in the future. Let's first hear him talking about something that he worked on this offseason, his body. And I followed it up with a question about the performance. Here's what Dalton Schultz had to say.
And yeah, dude, I feel good. I was, I had a couple things done in the offseason that I was kind of working through. And just now, I think finally getting back on the field, getting back into football, I feel really good.
Were you hurt last year?
No. Dude, that's hard. Everybody's hurt, dude. Like, no matter. Right. And like, I went through just some, like, rehabs and some deficiencies that I had. But, like, I don't know. Everybody's hurt, dude. Like, nobody's fresh, especially in the playoffs. Like, you ain't playing somebody at 100%. That's like the beauty of the game, is to try to find a way to give everything you have into whatever percentage that you want to call your health at that point. You know what I mean? Everybody's fighting through that. And so that's just a battle. It's the war of attrition that we play. And I was happy to get an off season under my belt where I could just kind of refocus on getting my body back to a really nice baseline.
Yeah, and I think obviously like he's hinting that he wasn't completely physically, and that's why I asked, like, so were you hurt? Well, no, and it's like, well, you said you worked on some stuff, and then he went there. I think that there was something wrong. I mean, we saw it, like we saw the way he was doing. Do I think that's like the 100% reason why Dalton Schultz looked the way he did? No, I don't think it's 100%. But the other thing that I like that he said, and I asked him to assess his own performance, and we'll hear that in a sec. But the other thing that I like that he said, it almost feels like he's accepting the fact that as a tight end, you're not a 3-down guy anymore. Like you're not a 3-down guy. Platooning as a tight end is fine. Like you can do it for a long time. And it seems like he's a little bit more open to that, whether it's practice reps or whether it's game reps. It feels like he's kind of accepting the fact that, not being that dude for the entire time on the football field is something that he is willing to accept.
Yeah, he said he's accepted that sometimes less is more. And if you get more out of using him less, then that's probably the way that you need to approach things with Dalton Schultz.
So let's hear what Dalton had to say about his performance, because I just asked him, how would you assess your performance last year? I was kind of intrigued to hear what he would say here. He went team player.
Dude, my performance is always like second to the team. Dude, I've never made it past a freaking divisional round in my career. And so for me, it's like I've been trying to get past that freaking round since the first time that I made it. And so for me, I mean, it's just not good enough. As a team, as like a personal, like obviously I didn't do enough in that game to win it. And so I think just it always goes back to how did we all do? Great, we all did well. Then like, let me look at me. Did I do enough to have us play well? Yeah, good. And then same thing in the opposite way. Did we lose? Yeah, we lost. Okay, nobody did well. How am I critiquing myself? Obviously I didn't do enough. So I always look at it through how did we do? Because ultimately that's what I care about. That's what we care about.
All right. So
I did not expect that answer from him. I
expected him to say I sucked.
I thought he was going to say it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I expected him to say I sucked. It wasn't good enough. We didn't win it. But like he went like ultimate team, and someone said, "Oh, it's an ultimate team player." I think that's his way of admitting that it just wasn't great.
Well, I mean, he singled out the Kansas City game. I wasn't good enough in that game. Yeah, you weren't.
Yeah, but also like I don't know that was ideal for you to be blocking George Karlaftis one-on-one. That doesn't like seem
$90 million defensive end.
Yeah, that didn't seem like the ideal ask, but
that's another thing that Schultz said. He's like, we have such a very tight end room that we can all do different things, and Nick Caley's going to mix and match us with what benefits our strengths, which is something that we talked about here in this offseason with the tight ends as well.
What was Dalton Schultz's favorite Nickelodeon show?
I don't know.
Hey, dude.
He does love a dude.
No, he rotates from bro to dude.
He does love a dude.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz is like the ultimate bro, so he'll go to the dude. So we'll see what it looks like with Dalton Schultz. I'm not sitting here like overly optimistic about the tight end room. I do like the way they're being used. I do think the quick game is going to be a little bit more of a factor. And we'll see.
They don't feel hopeless.
No, they don't feel hopeless.
Yeah.
Hopeless. I actually think Jakob Johnson adds to it.
Jakob got left out when Schultz was kind of talking about the tight end room. So
they consider him a fullback, but he's a tight end too.
I don't know if he gets the tight end love from the actual tight ends.
Yeah, he said that Cade Stover's just a farmer.
He said Cade Stover plays dumb, is what he said.
Pretty much. He said he's a lot smarter than he gives himself credit for.
Yeah. He said he was smarter than most second-year tight ends that he's ever come across.
Let's go look at the list of guys. Is that a shot at Ferguson?
That was exactly what I was going to ask you. Is that a shot at Ferguson?
I mean, they did choose Ferguson over him, so maybe he's a little bit bitter about it.
Maybe.
Who knows? All right, so West Virginia in 12 hours. We'll be on a plane to WV. I'm going to take a long-ass nap I'm going to wake up. I'm going to do laundry. I'm going to pack. I already got the audio equipment ready to go. And very excited for this.
It's going to be fun. We
Yeah,
got a lot of good stuff from out there.
Be really fun. Texan on the soupy chat.
You ain't never had
Swarm.
Said, I'm glad he's looking good this camp. So now he's only a 10-year-old golden retriever and he still can't block. Yeah.
Him and Stover combo blocked the hell out of Daniil Hunter today.
They better combo block.
Yeah, neither one of them's winning that 1-on-1, by the way.
It's a fact. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, like, ride along as we go to West Virginia. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.